Let me turn the audio on. That would really help. Hi, everyone. Welcome along to this live practice along session. We are live. I know some of you might be watching this afterwards, later on. But if you are live with me right now, please do stick a comment in the box below. Let me do a little bit more housekeeping. Just get my picture kind of straight in the thing here. This is my first time using OBS. Last time I used StreamYard. I'm trying to use a different model. So why are we doing this? My goal with my new venture, Sax.Coach, is to try and create a unique practice companion app for all you guys and website, so that when you're practicing, you've got someone to practice along with you. Because one of the things that helps me when I'm exercising or doing sport or doing anything, we want someone to do it with. And if you look at kind of the Apple Fitness stuff or the various different apps that are knocking about, I just think it's great to think that, when I'm on my rowing machine with Apple, I kind of think I'm in the gym with them doing the work. It's kind of been this big learning curve of lockdown. So we are not in a gym, thankfully, for some of us, but we are here. And I'm just going to make sure I get all the live chat. So if you're watching, please say hello, and then we can get cracking. Hopefully this is all coming through, and I'm not just talking to myself. So I'm going to work on my alto today. We're going to get started on the practicing. We're going to be using an exercise to start off with. We're going to do some long tones, but first of all, we're just going to blow some air through the saxophone. For me, sometimes that can be the most important thing to do. So grab your instrument. I am going to start on a G on the alto, which means it's a C for you tenor players, just in the middle, or if you're playing soprano. Please do let me know what instrument you're on in the chat, and let's give it a go. So I'm going to play a nice long G on my alto. So if you grab your saxophone, let's just do that together. Hi, Rob. Hi, Stephen. Grab your saxophones. Rob, I presume you're on alto. I think you're an alto player. Stephen, let me know what you're on, and anyone else who's there, do let me know which particular sax you're on. Let's do that again. So you should be able to hear that note with me. Let's this time start it softly and build it up. Here we go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to use my Pivot Long Tones 1. Now, this is available on my Make Your Sax Sing ebook, which, if you're watching this back, is in the link below. You probably haven't got time to go and look for it now if you're practicing along with me live. So we're going to set the metronome at 50. I'm just going to make sure I put it into 4 beats in a bar rather than 3. And we're going to start on a G. 4 beats on the G with the octave key on the alto, and then drop down. I'm acting as a good drone. Nice one, Steve. I'm going to drop down a semitone each time. So we all got our saxophones ready. If you're on tenor, you should be starting on a C, okay, at the top, and just coming down a semitone each time. So it's 4 on the first note, 7 on the second note, and then there's a crotchet rest, quarter note rest if you're in the States, quarter note rest, and then we're on to the next note. So let's reiterate that again. We're on G on the alto, which puts you on C on the tenor. It's 4 beats on the first note, 7 beats on the second note, and we're descending by a semitone on the second note each time. The first note stays the same. So if we're all ready, here we go. Can we all hear that metronome? I've just screenshotted it, which is not what I wanted to do. 1, 2, 3, breath. let's just pause there. Make sure we're there. Sadly, I don't know if you can see my little mouthpiece tooth cup has been moved, which is a real pain. So now we're going to play a G down to C natural on the alto. Are we ready? I'm going to give you 4 beats in. 2, 3, Now, the exercise, woo, and then bash my alto. My exercise does go further on the long tones book, but because we've only got 30 minutes to practice, we need to be efficient with our time, so we need to make sure that we move forward. Rick, don't worry about spelling tenor correctly. While we're pausing here, just as we get our thoughts together, 2 things I want you to do. The first one is think of a question to ask me towards the end of our practice session today. Maybe there's a particular thing you want to ask me about. The second thing to do is just to be conscious of your hands and what you're doing with your hands and your fingers. So, of course, when we're playing the saxophone, we spend a lot of time moving fingers down in one direction. It's actually quite nice just to make sure we've warmed them up and move them back a little bit, and then just exercise them slightly. So if you can be doing that in this exercise and then be thinking of a question, don't think too much of it because we've got to practice. So next up, metronome is going to move to 60 beats per minute, and we're going to do our minor arpeggios, okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to practice them in semitones, okay? So I'm going to get you to start on low E on the tenor, but B minor on the alto. So B minor, you have 2 ways of thinking of a minor scale. You can either think of the major scale, or the major arpeggio, and flatten that 3rd note, or you can think of the key signature of that minor key and then work your way out from there. But I'm going to tell you the notes to start with, which is going to be a B, D, F sharp, and a B at the top, because we're doing an arpeggio, not a triad. And then on the tenor, it's an E, G, B, and an E. Okay? So we're going to start on a B on the alto. Nice and slurred, nice and smooth. 2 octaves, slurred. 3, here we go. One beat per note. So with me, here we go. B, D, F sharp on alto. 1, 2, How do we find that? My alto is doing my head in with this movable mouthpiece. Let's do that again. What we're going to do, so it's an E on the tenor and a B minor on the alto. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. For you that you can go faster than that, that's great, okay? But today I'm just keeping it nice and simple. We're going to move to C minor now on the alto, which means you're going up to F minor on the tenor. So C minor on alto, C, E flat, G. Hey Jimmy from Mexico, hi Bruce. Let's do a C minor on alto, F on tenor. So we're going to play C, E flat, G in crotchets, quarter notes, 1 beat per note. Here we go. 1, think about that note, 2, 3. alto players, you've got to be careful about how you move that little finger down. So that's why the rollers are there. E flat C. Don't take it off. Roll it, roll it, roll it. Let's do that again. 2, 3. Good. Let's go to C sharp minor now. C sharp E G. 2, 3. D minor. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that note sounded horrible. Let's try that one again. 2. Now we're 13 minutes into the practice session. For me, my mind starts to wander. It did then. I was going off somewhere on another thought. Get yourself back in the room. Get yourself thinking about these notes. And this arpeggio is going to make you think about it. It is an E flat minor. So that's E flat, G flat, B flat. Okay, think of it as G flat, not as F sharp. E flat, G flat, B flat. G flat and F sharp are of course the same note, but be thinking about it. Tenor players, do it in your head. See if you can figure it out. We're only a semitone up from where we were. Tenor players, you're probably more intelligent, so you'll know your way around. Sorry, alto players. I'm on an alto anyway. Here we go. Here we go. 1, 2. Now, it might be, for me, that E flat sounded quite sharp. So sometimes when you're playing the E flat on the top, rather than using both those spoons, you can just use one of them. Okay, so don't use the D and the E flat together, just use one. Let's do that together again. E flat minor. 1, 2, 3. Let's now do E minor. E minor. Here we go. 2, 3. And again, whoa, that blew sharp for me there. Okay, so I'm going to drop the D fingering off that one. So I'm going to go do the E minor again. Here we go. 1, 2. Good to be aware of that. Tenor players, we're getting a bit high now. We're getting a bit out of your range, so you're going to have to start thinking about 12ths. So we're going to do this one as a 12th, okay? So that means we play the top note twice. So on alto, we're doing an F minor. Okay, tenor players, I suppose you've now got in that right range. But we're going to play the top C twice and not play the top F, okay? Let me just demo that for you. Here we go. Just listen to me play it first. 2, 3, Okay, let's try that together. After 4, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to pause there on the minor arpeggios. Again, you could do more. We've run there up 10 of them, I think, have we? No, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. We've done. Okay. So, what's that question you want to ask me? Have a think about that while you just have a little breather. We're going to talk now about doing some major arpeggios, okay? Why not with the top F, easy with the fob? Basically because of our tenor player brothers, okay? Because of the way they're translated. Front F, yeah, you can do it. It's quite easy to do, definitely. But what I wanted to do there, Stephen, was just, sorry, I just said Stephen's commenting there. What I wanted to show, Stephen, was the fact that how we do a 12th, and particularly as the tenor players are getting further and further out of their range, I thought it would be generous to do that. So let's now look at some majors. So we've stopped there when we were on the alto at F minor. We're now going to switch now to an F sharp major. So circle of fifths, F sharp major has the 6 sharps, okay? F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. Father Charles goes down and ends, or fat cats get dozy after. Hang on, fat cats get dozy after eating. We've got 6 sharps, haven't we? Let's get dozy after eating. 6 sharps, okay? Of course, we've got an E sharp and F sharp major. But we're not worried about that one because all we're dealing with is the major arpeggio. F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and F sharp. And Stephen, if you're up for it, we're going to slide in the top F sharp this time. Okay. If you're not up for it, just play the top C sharp twice. 1, 2, Okay, who's up for doing that one in quavers? 8th notes. 1, so we're going to do it 2 beats per note. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3. Is that okay? Did we keep up with that one? Okay. Now, unless you want to start hitting altissimo register, which we'll talk about another day, we're going to be doing a G major arpeggio, which is a 12. So we've got to play the top D twice. Apologies, tenor players. I'm keeping to my alto here, but you're on a C now. Here we go. 1, 2, Again, let's try that in 8th notes, quavers. 2 beats per note. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, how's that going? Okay, how are those arpeggios going? Now, the reason we were doing majors and minors, we obviously need to practice the other ones, but for now, I want to explain a concept to you. And this is the concept I want us to get, because one of the big things you all said, if you answered that survey I did, is you want to get better at improvising. And I want to teach you a really simple improvisational concept today as part of our practice along session, which is a triadic pair. And what you're going to do, you're going to take a triadic pair and you are going to improvise over that. And at the end of today's session, I'm going to leave you to it. Go and find a backing track, use the jazz session band. Sadly, I couldn't get session band up and working. I wanted you to all be able to record and go along. But I want you to be able to play a triadic pair together. Now, the triadic pair I want you to look at is a G minor followed by an F major. So let's just play that together. So there's 2 ways of doing it. You could, well, there's more than 2 ways. There's a whole book written on the subject. But what I'm doing there is either thinking of them as 2 separate triads, so a G minor plus an F major on top. F, so G, B flat, D, F, A, C. Sorry, I didn't play that on top there. That's what we're after. But you could also play it as a scale, because you can play G, A, because that's part of the F arpeggio, B flat is part of the G minor, C is part of the F, D is part of the G minor, and then F is part of the F, obviously. So one of the things I want you to do, I'm going to just suggest maybe you pause or we just do it together. is I want you to try and improvise an idea yourself. And the best way to think about improvising is to have a call and a response, a question and an answer. So think about, I tell you what, let's do it this way. I can't hear you answering me, sadly. Maybe if we do this on Zoom and another thing, or maybe something to build in for the app, is to be able to have this idea that I can ask a question, you answer me. Okay, but obviously only you can hear the answer, which is quite great. And actually, for a lot of people, it's a very safe way of improvising. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to think of an idea just off that triadic pair, and then I want you to answer back to me. Let's think of one. Okay. I tell you what, let's stick Drum Genius on. That'll be an easier way of doing it. So if you haven't seen the Drum Genius app, I mentioned it on the last blog. Let's see if we can get some kind of funky rhythm going or something. Here's a funk. Yeah, typical. Oh, I've got it on airplane mode, so it won't download the files. Okay. So here's our little drum beat. I'll keep that going. Can you just all hear that okay? One, two, 1, 2, 3. Cool. And bring into your own practice, doing that not only, practicing it along with me there, but to yourself. So ask a question, answer it. Ask a question, answer it when you're improvising. So to run past that concept again, that was 2 triadic pairs, a minor and a major. Finally, the last little bit of nugget to give you today is to take 2 majors and combine them. Now, what I was looking for to do today was to try and find just a bog standard D minor modal chord. So something like The Opening of So What by Miles Davis or Impressions by John Coltrane. I might see if I can load it up on the computer, but I'm not sure whether it'll play back everything with this setup. But what you're going to do on the tenor, you think of 2 triads. You take the triad off the 3rd and the 4th. So you take a G major triad and an A major triad. On the alto, you're taking a D major triad and an E triad, because on tenor, your mode is on an E minor, okay? On alto, your mode is on a B minor, B for Bertie. So let's just think of those 2 triads. So just take those, Okay, so taking the two major triads there. Now we're going to run out of time, but I've given you that to take away. So what we started practicing though today was to go through. We obviously did some long tones, as always. And look at the Make Your Sax Sing ebook, but then the Nail Your Scales thing is kind of in here because it's taking something simple like two arpeggios, a minor and a major, or two majors. You can even do it sometimes with two minors if you get it in the right context. But the practice stuff comes here. And in a sense, this half an hour of doing this practice is going to enable you to improvise better. So all of you who wrote, I want to get a better improviser, this is the sort of stuff you need to do because you need to be able to access this information quickly and accurately. And actually, you'll probably notice, and you'll see it a few times, a couple of stumbles when I played. I'm out of practice. I've said this to you. The last 2 years has been really, really difficult for me to sort of get down and practice. So actually working with you guys is helping me as we get along. So very, very quickly, we've got 3 minutes left. Pop some questions in there, preferably about practice, but it can be anything music related if you want to. We will say what we're doing. Marcolosis 2015, this is awesome, can't stay, but yes, definitely participate in the future. I will try and see. And now, those of you who've been around for a while, let me put my alto down. I tried to do these last year. Family circumstances have dictated it's just not been possible. I really wanted to go for it this time last year. But I have now. I've got the infrastructure in place. The new website is getting rebuilt today on a new server so it can cope with the demand. And then we'll move towards this. And what I'll be doing is hopefully broadcasting them every week on Sax.Coach. The beauty is, of course, with YouTube is that you can come in and watch them at any point. You know, this half hour will always be there where you can go and watch it. So that's fine. So, nobody got any questions. Nobody's going to hit me with a question. My children want their food. So, if anyone's got a question, Rick, I do want to get to the Detroit Jazz Festival. It is on my list to do. Now COVID's out of the way. Hopefully I will be with you soon. Any questions? We can throw it open about anything to do with the vlog or saxophones if we're not sure on practice. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Anything you'd like me to look at practice in the future? If you're watching this back, put it in a comment and I'll see what I can do in terms of the practice. Nice one, Rick. Hopefully, when's the Jazz Festival, Rick? And we will try and build it around that. Right, that is 6:30. Oh, question. Here we go. Stephen's got it in. If I see a chord chart 251, how do I work out which triad pairs? Okay, very quickly on the minor. Okay, I'm going to give you, let's say the 251 is in C major, D minor, G7, C. I'll give you one for the minor chord very quickly. No problem about the rubbish time, Stephen. So for the minor, D minor, you're thinking of two triadic pairs. You're thinking of a D minor triad plus a C major. And then you can play this lick. That is on the Cambridge Saxophone website. A little plug there. But it's a D minor followed by a C major triad and then down the the G bebop scale. You can, Stephen, if you really want to know, this book by Gary Campbell has got all of it in there. I need to go through it in more detail with you all another time. I've not heard you play, Stephen, but for a lot of students that I teach, be aware of what I call IBS, intelligent bloke syndrome. You buy the book, you understand it intellectually, but you can't get. I've not heard you play, Stephen, so maybe you can get it. But be wary of that. Be more concerned with getting those arpeggios down and getting that run down, and then being able to access it rather than necessarily intellectually understanding it. Because it's actually a very simple concept. I hope you all get that. but actually the application of it takes a bit more time. But I'll talk about that in the next practice session, definitely. That is all we've got time for today, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. There's more vlogs and stuff coming, including an update, just to let you all know, a little sneak preview for you guys on watching the practice session. That whole thing was done on a Venn, D'Addario Venn reed on the alto. I absolutely love it on the alto. The beauty is that has been on this saxophone for 2 days, and I've not taken it off. And if I do that with a cane reed, it wouldn't play. So well done, D'Addario. I haven't kind of got used to it on the tenor yet, but we'll see. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Make sure you click a like, make sure you're subscribing, and I will be back with a new practice session really, really soon. I'll let you know when it is. Bye-bye now.